Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are live on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube and Facebook for their WWE Day 1 preview and predictions. WWE's huge show to kick off 2022. So I had to bring along my esteemed colleague, wrestling legend, manager extraordinaire, the star maker himself, Kenny Bolin. Good morning, Kenny.
Don't worry about introducing me. How about my extra guest here today, who, by the way, has demanded to be paid? I'll have to get with Raiju on that later today. Mr. Scooby, Mr. Scooby is here, and he's going to be making predictions. He's predicting that he's going to be napping during the show, and that he doesn't care. Right?
He'll still be drunk from New Year's.
See him yawning. He's bored already. It's okay. It'd be all right. Would you like to go back in the cage and sleep, or you want to go in my bed? You go ahead. Go night night. I know. Go night night. I'm okay. I got this. I got it.
Oh,
he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go because he's baby.
I don't even want to hear. I don't want to even hear your predictions for day one. I want to hear how cute Kenny Dog is. So how are you doing, Kenny? Happy holidays to you.
The holidays have not been too bad. I see that we got a few people in here already. The holidays went very well. Got a Google Pixel 6 from my son, followed up by the Google Nest, which I've never had before. So I'm still learning how to use all that and getting ready to have the home control. I may even have the fireplace eventually controlled by the Google device here before it's all said and done. A lot of people think that's a TV, but it's kind of both, because when you turn it on, the temperature goes up about 7 degrees. Jacks it right up.
Excellent stuff.
What's the weather been like up in New York? Because we've been outrageously warm down here. We've been in the 70s every day.
Oh, New York has been pretty cold. It's been pretty cold over here in these parts. But for the weather report, although it is a diverse amount of weather where we're both at, but we are here to discuss WWE Day 1.
We're not here to talk about the weather.
Their first pay-per-view of 2022 on the first day of 2022 from Atlanta, Georgia. It's going to be live on the Peacock and WWE network, wherever you are. What is your expectations for this show here, Kenny?
That it'll air. I'm assuming that they will go live. It will air. I don't even know all the matches. I'm going to learn as we go here today. I don't even know what all the matches are.
Well, you count on me. You count on me, Kenny.
You're the anchor of this show. I'm just dead weight. If you don't believe me, ask the bosses at Sportskeeda. I mean, good Lord, I'll address some of that towards the end of the show. By the way,
I mean we're doing our usual monthly pay-per-view preview a little bit late because they didn't.
You and I ought to be on camera on air every day, monthly. You just pointed out. I'll address that towards the end of the show.
I mean, I ask them all the time for more stuff to do, and then
I know
they come up with more stuff to do and don't ask me to do it. It's just
They come up with more stuff to do. They hire your Bill After. I was going to get into all this at the end of the show, but you got your Bill Afters and your Usos and your Featherstones. Have any of them beaten John Cena? I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
None of them.
Have any of those managed John Cena? Have any of those placed 54 men? Did Bill After ever grab a headlock in the wrestling business?
I'm not sure, but I'm going to lean towards no.
No, all right. Well, like I said, I'll address all that at the end of the show. Maybe.
Well, we do want to hear all your predictions from the WWE Day 1 card. It's a 7-match card. Like I said, from Atlanta, Georgia.
Good morning, Molly.
Good morning, Molly. Good morning to everyone in the live chat.
Molly was nice enough to say good morning to both of us, so I figured I should return it.
So nice. Thank you, Molly.
Sweet, Molly.
We got to show love and bring Molly on screen. We also
we go, little Molly.
We got Jay Ward, who says morning,
regular
man.
on my show. He's overturned some great accomplishments in Ohio or northern Kentucky. I think he lives in Florence, Kentucky, and he's a regular on my show. Good guy. He's come a long way the past several months.
Pradeek saying hello, good morning, guys. Good morning to you. And he also says this Saturday, more people will watch WWE Day One. Do you think because it's on a Saturday, because it's on a typical day where people are getting sober by 8 o'clock on a Saturday, do you think people are going to
Now,
watch
is
this
it going to be
pay-per-view?
is it going to be an 8 p.m. start time for that Saturday night?
Yes.
I think there's various reasons they're doing it. I'm assuming they probably don't want to go head to head with a whole lot of NFL football, even though there might be a Saturday night game this week. I don't know, but I think the last thing you want to do is around playoff time have your pay-per-view go against any bowl games, national championship games, quarterfinal games. Cincinnati and Alabama comes to mind with our good friend Rick Uchipo. He's probably amped up for that game, and so am I. I'd love to see Cincinnati pull that off, but there could be various reasons why they're doing that. I'm not sure, but I was a little surprised to see a Saturday night pay-per-view. But I'm sure they've got the people in logistics and statistics putting numbers together, saying this is a good idea. Let's give it a try.
Somebody somewhere has to be saying it, but let's get into it. Kenny, we're going to talk about two people you might be a little bit familiar with, as
Maybe.
they're gonna have a grudge match at WWE Day One. WWE Hall of Famer, the rated R superstar Edge, will go
Right.
one-on-one with The Miz. This follows up from Edge making his return following his big win over Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel in October. He came back in December, and he was on Miz TV when The Miz returned to basically WWE after his Dancing with the Stars stint. He returned with Maurice over the last couple of weeks.
Well, that's
Maurice
what
has
I
been
would do. I mean, if I were to do Dancing with the Stars, I'd just show up whenever I got around to it myself. And
pretty much.
Unfortunately, I missed The Miz. I think he is the first Bolin Services member to appear on Dancing with the Stars, unless John Cena has done it, which I doubt.
No, I don't think so.
And did they explain anything about Johnny Nitro no longer being a part of this group?
All they did was the initial promo between Edge and The Miz. He says that he came back to wrestling, after injury. He has passion for this business, while The Miz is just getting ready for his next dance competition where he'll go off and his tag team partner will get fired. That's the only acknowledgement of Morrison not being around.
Little burn there, little burn.
Yes.
I think it's always good when you can work a little of the truth into these storylines. So
I agree, but not at the expense of someone who just lost their job. Especially when WWE have set the precedent of acting like these people don't exist.
They don't exist and never happen.
They used to do, like, I watch a lot of old school, like 1995, 1996 WWF for a show I do on my channel, and they used to do like, oh, this person is no longer here, they're going to play with the big boys, or they'll say, oh, this person has been injured, and they're no longer clear to be on the roster.
Who the hell would the big boys have been in '96? I thought that was
WCW. That was WCW. That was the little catch line for WCW back in those days, where the big boys play. So WWF used to acknowledge that those guys went to go work with WCW without mentioning WCW, and say they went to.
See, I was contracted with WWE from '99 through 2008, and I was pretty sure I was watching in '96, but I didn't realize they acknowledged other than when Hall and Nash left, and I don't know that they acknowledged it then. But wow,
they did. They did because of the lawsuit. They did.
Yeah,
I'm watching. That's where I'm currently watching, and Vince on commentary does mention, like,
so who you got? You got Miz or Edge? I've worked with both. Edge was down in OVW like 3 times. He got hurt all 3 times. I said, you got to quit coming back here. This place is bad luck for you. We'd like to see you on the big stage. And he took my advice. I never saw him in OVW again after getting hurt like 3 times with us. And the Miz, of course, I managed for a period of time. God, I think
any good Miz stories from your time managing him?
Other than I didn't want to manage him. He came in, he was a part of Big Brother at the time, and I think he'd done some other reality shows.
Or Real World, not Big Brother.
Real World. He didn't do.
Put some respect on MTV to Real World, the OG reality show.
He never did Big Brother.
No, he did Real World, and then he did the challenge, the MTV the challenge,
Well, that's how little.
another GOAT reality show, and then he did Fear Factor, I think, like
Well,
once.
that's how little a shit me and Cornette gave, because we were told he was a star of Big Brother, and we said, well, we don't give a shit. You haven't done anything here. And but he came in acting like he was a big deal. No wonder it was no one in OVW gave a damn, because I don't know how many MTV fans we have at OVW. So nobody cared. He came in thinking he was a pretty big deal. Nobody gave a shit. We didn't give a shit. Me and Cornette especially did not, nor did Danny Davis. I didn't want to manage him. He was he had a bit of the big head when he got in, and but eventually they put me with him anyway for a short period of time, and then I've already forgotten how I got out of it. I just didn't want to manage him. I just didn't think that he and I were a good mix. And but hey, look at him. He's still there. He got up there, and the stories I remember the best is how they packed his shit and because he thought he was apparently a big deal when he got to WWE, and they just threw his shit out in the locker room. I think it was Undertaker, and they made him get dressed in the hallway, and he got abused. And I thought he would run away with his tail between his legs, but to his credit, like Randy Orton, who said, "I'm only here for the $750 a week." Randy's now done more matches on Monday Night Raw than anybody, and the Miz is still there, and he can't be all that far behind, I guess. So Miz has stuck it
Two-time
out.
Grand
I didn't
Slam
think he
winner.
would.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
He's a two-time Grand Slam winner. I would say
Yeah.
he's one of your most successful clients.
He actually is. He actually is. And well, it's hard to beat 16 world titles, I guess.
Yeah. That's why I said
one of. Well, we got a few. It's hard to name drop them all in one show, but we'll see what we can do to get that in. But being a former BS member, and I think he needs the win more than Edge. Edge is at this point he's an Undertaker. He's a Kane, a Stone Cold, a Rock. Maybe not quite to that level, but he's a grasp from the past. And something for those fans. I don't think he needs the win. I think the Miz, to be taken seriously, does. So I will predict the Miz.
I think because of how much time they've invested in this matchup during the build-up, I don't think this is a one and done feud. So
Probably not.
For this feud to continue, I think you're right that the Miz needs the victory, and I think that Edge will understand that as well. Edge is a guy that has done, he's done the job when he's supposed to, and he's kind of helped his feuds be important. Like the one thing that I've emphasized about Edge, especially with like guys like Kevin Owens re-signing with WWE, I want Kevin Owens to be treated like everything he's doing is important, because when you look at Edge, he's been in the title scene since his return in 2020, but when he's not in the title scene, what he's doing is it is presented as being important. That's why the Miz's wedding renewal was the main event segment of Raw this week, because they knew Edge was involved in that. Miz doesn't get that opportunity.
I haven't got to see that yet, so I guess I better go check that out. I've watched a few of these wedding nuptial shows done in the ring over my time, and going back to the days of Hillbilly Jim and I think Randy and Elizabeth redid theirs in the ring. Hillbilly Jim. There have been a few. Normally they don't go well, so just save the surprise for me. I'll check that out. We'll see how that went.
No worries at all. Yes, you enjoy that. We have Mary saying Miz will cheat, so she thinks the Miz will win.
He didn't learn anything from me if he doesn't.
So we also got Victor Nash saying Edge wins, Beth takes out Maurice. Do you think that Beth is going to be inserted in this feud?
If we get a date with Maurice, I'll go up there and whip both their asses if that's what's on the line. I mean, hell, I'm all up for that.
Well,
by the way, Maurice, and I don't know if either one of them will admit it, Maurice hated him when he was down here. I don't know that he thought too highly of her. I think those were a couple of strong egos, and his was probably the strongest. I do not remember those two getting along that well. And when I heard they got married, I went, what? I mean, was everyone else taken? Why did she pick him? Because I don't remember her being that fond of him down here.
I've heard Maurice has fantasized about you during her time there.
Well, she's told a lot of people. And I mean, look at me and my hair and look at the Miz and his. I mean, who are you going to pick, for crying out loud? And I do have the experience factor on my side. You know, I've been places. I've done a couple things.
Do you think that Beth Phoenix is going to be inserted in this feud? Do you think, and if so, do you think it's going to happen at day one, or do you think that's something that they're going to
I
save?
think that's damn good television that the fans would eat up. I didn't even think about that, but that's damn good television right there. Beth has been a long time a friend of mine from Ohio Valley, and always thought the world of Beth. I knew her when she was working at some hillbilly second-rate restaurant here in Louisville. I wish I could think of the name of it, or I'd name drop them. But she was a waitress, and if you saw Beth without her makeup, and I did a few times, you didn't know who the hell she was. And she came up to me at a flea market once. I was doing a personal appearance out there. Beth Phoenix comes up. She wasn't Beth Phoenix then. She comes up and she's talking to me. I said, I'm not sure who you are. I said, but you said you was in the locker room with me last night? She says, Kenny, I'm Beth. I stood back like, whoa. I said, yeah, okay. I said, you look a little different today in your waitress clothing than you did macked out to the gills last night at the show. And I saw her at the show and I didn't know who she was. And I'm going, man, this girl just looks wise, has potential, because she looked like she could work, and then turned out she could. And she had a loser boyfriend at that time. I think she got rid of him and anybody connected with him. But that's great television. I didn't even think of that, and I hope that happens. I'd like to see that. I'll tune in to see that. A couple of OVW girls, and Edge put in a little time tutoring down at OVW, and yeah, that'd be some interesting stuff. I'd enjoy seeing that.
We got Brenda Goodwin saying Edge is definitely
Bill After couldn't give you that. Bill don't know any of that. That's inside info right here.
Edge is definitely gonna win his match against Miz and Brock Lesnar.
Russo and Dr. Featherbird. Russo and Dr. Featherbird wouldn't have known any of that. You get that right here.
Not Lesnar. Lester is definitely going to win the match against Roman Reigns, says Brenda Goodwin.
Good old Brenda with inside info, I guess.
We also got Ray Jew checking in on us and telling us to keep it PG, gentlemen.
What have we said that's not PG?
I guess Maurice fantasizing about you is not PG.
I think that's very PG. Procter and Gamble.
Well, let's talk about the next match, which I'm sure we won't have as much to talk about here, as it will be Drew McIntyre going one-on-one with Madcap Moss. Drew McIntyre has joined the ire of Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss over the last couple of weeks. They were in a tag team feud with Jeff Hardy included until Jeff Hardy was released from the company. Drew McIntyre has been held back by the management on SmackDown, with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville keeping him out of the Black Friday Battle Royal to earn an opportunity at the Universal Championship. So he inserted his sword into the desk of Adam Pearce, and then Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss stole the desk with the sword until Drew McIntyre was able to retrieve it and pull it out of the stone like he was.
Do me a favor before we do the obvious here. Throw up Bob Hazelwood's most recent comment there.
Let's see here. We got Bob Hazelwood saying Ken Bolin being leeched by Red Jew.
I assure you, nothing is further from the case. I assure you, they have not made a leash that good or that tight yet. Good luck. All right. Move on.
Well, there you go. And I think Mike M put it best. What a horrible story this has been. I have nothing much to say about this besides Drew McIntyre is going to win. How about you?
Yeah, my God. Who's he taking on? Madcat Mudhen. What's his name?
Madcap Moss.
I've got absolutely no desire. This is the worst gimmick ever given to a human being since the guy that came out of the egg. I'm not even the biggest fan of, is it Ricky Boogs that comes out with Shinsuke? My God, some things are made to succeed and some things are made to blow up in your face. This one especially, and Happy Corbin, my God, is that coming up later?
They ruined Happy Corbin. Happy Corbin was fine. They did a cool story with the bum Corbin, and then he went to Vegas. He became Happy Corbin. We were still into it, and then they inserted this albatross known as.
Do you know what an albatross is? Do you know what an albatross is? You got the definition?
I don't have it in front of me.
I
No.
got it for you. You know who I
Yeah.
got my you know who I got my albatross definition from? I got it from Sergeant Vince Carter of Gomer Pyle. That's what he once called Gomer Pyle back in
Is he related to Vince Carter of the Toronto Raptors?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure not.
Cool.
Vince Carter, who was the sergeant for Gomer Pyle, he once called Gomer Pyle an albatross, and it's stuck with me forever. An albatross is a big, ugly bird that brings doom and gloom everywhere it goes, and that's exactly what an albatross is.
And that's exactly what Madcap Moss is.
Yes, you described him perfectly. Now that you know what an albatross is, you can apply the term correctly, and you did it by accident this time.
I didn't do it by accident. I knew it.
You didn't know what an albatross was.
Yes, I does.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I do.
Don't
insult my intelligence here.
You do now. Oh, I insult.
We agreed on something. Let's leave it there.
Leave it at that.
Moving on to our.
Did you know that Gomer Pyle was once called an albatross by Vince Carter? Not the guy from Toronto? Okay.
No, I did not. But
now you know.
He did win the slam dunk contest in 2000.
Speaking of albatrosses,
next up, we have for the Raw Tag Team titles, Arcade Bro, Randy Orton and Riddle will defend against the winners of the Arcade Bronament, the Street Profits. The Street Profits defeated Alpha Academy
put up Raiju's comment. Put up Raiju's comment.
As well as Ray and Dominic Mysterio to win the Arcade Bronament to earn the opportunity against Arcade Bro at the pay-per-view. So who's going to win here? And the post by
isn't that the most appropriate statement?
I play for a band called Albatross.
Yeah, that is the most appropriate statement I've seen today. And the lead albatross, there he is right there, the big ugly bird that brings doom and gloom, trying to crap all over the show. Just leave us alone. We're going to be fine. Don't be putting your big long arm of the law over here on this show. You do that with all the other ones. We got this. 10,000 views on Facebook by the end of the day. Just calm down. We got it.
Relax.
Yeah, relax. Albatross.
Who you got here? Arcade Bro versus the Street Profits.
Oh, God. I guess you're a fan of the Street Profits.
I love the Street Profits.
You love them, okay?
Yeah, it's because I've met them, and I think they're very genuine. Very genuine when you meet them, as well as they are just top-notch performers. That matchup with the Mysterios and Street Profits was a great match on Raw this week.
They've had trouble grabbing me, and I'm not going to say they're not great guys. And a lot of times when you meet people, like Sylvester Turkey, I was too close to Sylvester Turkey to realize he just wasn't WWE material. And I cried when he got released. I couldn't understand it. And then when I separated myself from the situation, I said, okay, he might be good for this company. He might be good for that company, but he probably just wasn't good for WWE. My closeness to him, I had to separate myself from that situation. I just look at people that can sell tickets and put asses in seats, and I just don't see that with them. And I got absolutely no use. If I was Orton, I'd have quit the business when they stuck me with Riddle. I got no use for him whatsoever. It's as an irritant to Orton, which is still to this day what it comes off as, is that he is just an irritant to Orton and he doesn't want to go along with any of this. But there's only so much mileage you can get out of that. So I guess that's why I don't have a ton of interest. I love what Randy's accomplished. Randy and I have come over some differences over the years. He now follows me on Twitter, and I think Sportskeeda is the reason of that, because I said some nice things about Randy on the show. It was one of the few clickbait Bolin, they call me on Sportskeeda now. He was one of the few that doesn't get buried in my comments.
They call you the click maker here.
The click maker. Well, there you go. Well, that's not bad either. I like that. I like being the click maker. I'm sure I'll make a few more clicks today with Raiju trying to edit from 68,000 miles away or wherever he's at.
We got Dan Lemley with a
he's a regular over at the bowling alley. Of course, he donates about 100 times that on my show, but he's keeping it real. He's keeping it real. Don't give these people any money. Do you know how much money Raiju's got for crying out loud?
Keep it coming, please.
Are you getting any of it?
Keep it coming. It makes me look good. It makes me look good.
He's kissing up to corporate now. What else is
no.
Yeah, just put on your little pink.
That doesn't get you anywhere.
Put on your little pink tutu and dance like a bear. There you go.
No. No dancing
No,
here.
I
No
don't wear no
dancing here.
pink tutus,
I,
son.
I
I
don't
don't
wear.
wear any pink.
I know you wear green ones.
Well,
Critique says,
neon
"Hey,
green. Get it right. Neon
hey,
green.
SP3, is the pay-per-view sold out this Saturday?" No, it is not.
Well,
They have actually sent out applications to be seat fillers at the
oh,
arena in Atlanta,
oh,
Georgia for the day one
oh.
pay-per-view.
Where's the pay per view being held?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia can't sell out a WWE pay per view. Wow. How many seat fillers do you think they're going to need?
I don't know, but people are filling out applications. Even people that are not going to Atlanta
Why do
are
you got
filling
to
out
fill out?
applications.
You know what we used to do for seat fillers when they'd come to town and we wanted to make sure the upper deck was sold out? They would give me 2,000 to 3,000 tickets, and I'd go around and hand them out to schools and give them to people and say, hey, I'll give you this ticket, but you got to show up. If you ain't going to show up, you put this ticket in the hand of somebody that will. And WWE kept numbers on that, and they said that 97% of the tickets I gave out showed up. They also gave a couple thousand tickets to somebody else here at OVW, and they said his numbers were like 30% would show up. But I'd put the fear of God in them, show up because they track these tickets, and they didn't. Not to the point they knew who I gave them to. I said, if you don't show up, I'm going to know about it. So if you don't show, you put it in the hand of somebody that does, and that's what an application to come sit in a seat for what? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of, but I guess you make them think they earned their seat.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, but
That's
I'm gonna
desperate.
go. I'm gonna go with RK Bro to retain. I think they are nearing the end of the conclusion of their tag team. I think that
I hope so.
probably
I hope
WrestleMania
so.
38 we see Riddle versus Orton, so they have to lose the titles before then. I just don't think it's at day one. What do you think?
Yeah. What you got any ideas on what's going to lead to that turn of Riddle versus Orton, or is there going to be friendly and then it turns ugly afterwards?
I can see them losing the titles in a way that
That
kind of
Randy brings
trigger,
them.
kind of finally is the last straw for Randy to just kind
Yeah.
of turn
Yeah.
against him.
Yeah, I think we've ridden this horse as long as we can ride it. And unfortunately, this horse does have a name, and its name is Riddle. And I think it's time to put it out to pasture. That's my prediction.
I think Riddle has gotten over because of this. So I think he's gonna be a good and a probably like an upper mid card to main event babyface over on Raw. When you look at the landscape over there, they don't have a lot of options after like Big E as far as like big time babyface. There's Randy Orton and Riddle. They're the second biggest baby faces on the show.
Your definition of over and mine are two different worlds, but in the
fans
landscape of
react
Raw,
to him. That's over. Everywhere he goes, every place that he
how
goes
do
up,
you even know what reactions are real anymore? They pipe in so damn much stuff. You don't even know what's real anymore. I hear birds chirping when he comes out.
I mean, I know they do turn up the fake crowd noise. I don't hear it for Riddle and Randy Orton's entrance.
I judge it
Bro
way.
or Street Profit?
I judge it this way. I judge it this way. I interact with wrestling fans pretty much on a daily basis, which you probably do too. I've never heard one fan say, "Oh, I can't wait to go see that Riddle match." Now, I don't. That's not the case with a Miz. That's not the case with a Maurice. That's not the case with a Becky Lynch or many people in the women's division.
You know people that want to see a mismatch?
There's actually a few. Yeah, actually a few.
They must do some really good.
Well, a lot of people from Ohio.
They have an insomnia effect, and Miz is the solution to that. So I mean, I've never in my life. I like the Miz. I enjoy the Miz. I've heard people say, I want to hear that Miz promo. I've heard people say they want to see.
I think Miz is one of the best promos in the business.
I've never heard anyone say they want to see a Miz match. Never.
Well, I have a lot of fans from Ohio.
That type of worker.
Well, okay, you might have me there. I think they enjoy seeing him on. I probably should have said they enjoy seeing him on the show.
Yes,
there's a lot of people whose promos I don't mind, that I don't particularly give a crap if I see him. Can you say crap on this network over here? Maybe not. The long arm of the law over there in Bombay might be reaching out to us again. Kenny said crap.
But who you got, RK Bro or Street Profits?
I'll go with RK Bro, just because Let's put this thing to bed and let's get on to something else.
We're 3 for 3 on agreeing here. Let's see if that
Oh,
continues.
already? Well,
Smackdown Tag Team Championships are also going to be on the line as the Usos will defend against the New Day of King Woods and the Hand to the King, Sir Kofi Kingston. This is a long story rivalry, probably the greatest tag team rivalry in WWE of the past decade.
right.
And it was after King Woods drew the ire of Roman Reigns that they started interacting once again, with the New Day beating the Usos in a 2-on-2 tag team situation in a triple threat match with RK Bro to be named the best tag team in WWE. So they have gotten the number of the Usos over the last couple of weeks. Do they get the big win at day one? Who you got, Usos or New Day, Kenny?
Wow. What do you think of King New Day there? What do you think of him? Do you think he's doing a good job?
I'm a fan of King Woods. I think
Yeah.
I thought that this win should have led to something bigger, like his interactions with Roman Reigns. Even if it was a title match on the weekly TV show, it should have led to something big for him.
Yeah.
By himself, not with the New Day.
I agree, because we've seen New Day to death. We've seen that to death. That's probably why I'm going to go with the Usos. I don't think there's anything to gain by having New Day get a victory and tag titles and all that. Are the titles on the line, I assume?
Yes, the SmackDown.
Yeah, I don't see anything to gain for them, because now you tie him up in another tag team program, and I don't think that's why you made him the king, is to put him right back where he was. So I don't know why you do that, but then again, and guys, remember, I don't care if I go 0 for 35 on these picks. What I say is right. What they do is a whole nother story. And when the fans can easily, well, I'm a fan and I guessed 8 out of 9 matches right. Well, great. That means they're doing some bad booking if the marks are sitting at home predicting everything that's going to happen. One thing I used to love about Vince is that if he even heard that people were making a prediction of something was going to happen, he would switch it if the rumor was so-and-so was going to win, he would make sure that didn't happen. I think those days are over, but no. If
but
the fans
even when I think after a couple of years that didn't even work, because sometimes he'll change it and it would be worse. Like when Christian,
it would be worse in spite of it. He would do it just despite the fans.
Like when Christian was
didn't matter if it was worse.
When Christian was supposed to be the attacker of Jeff Hardy, and then it turned into Matt Hardy, and we got Matt versus Jeff again, and it was just as bad as it was in 2001.
Oh, I didn't say he wouldn't do it in spite of himself. He would just it was kind of like what Jerry Jarrett used to say when people knock on his door. Mr. Jarrett, I'm looking for a job. I'm smart to the business. And he said, well, you might be smart to the business, but you're not smart to my business. So go buy a ticket. And Vince liked to show people they weren't smart to what he was doing. And if it meant hurting the company, he'd do it anyway. So, but yeah, I don't like it if you can just sit there and just predict. I like to be surprised. I mean, it's why you watch the damn shows. If you know how 8 out of 9 of them are going to end, then why the hell are you even watching it?
So who you got in this one? Who Usos or New Day?
I'm going to go the Usos. I think there's no reason to occupy their time with the tag titles. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think that's the right decision, because
honestly,
yeah, because if the Usos lose, like, what does that do for the Usos?
What do they do?
They've lost 2 tag team matches on TV. They've lost a triple threat match against the New Day, and then they're gonna lose the titles at the pay-per-view. How does that give them anything coming out of this?
That's not good momentum, as they call it. That's not good mo on your side when you do that.
Absolutely not. And I've heard people say, I've said all those great things about the New Day Usos rivalry, and I met all of them. It's one of the greatest tag team feuds in all of WWE history, not just the past decade. But they have done this matchup
have come
to death.
A long way.
They have done this matchup to death. I don't want to see it after day one. I just don't.
I agree with you.
Next up, we got for the Raw Women's Championship, it's going to be Becky Lynch defending against Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan got her opportunity at the Raw Women's Championship a couple of weeks back on Monday Night Raw in the main event against Becky Lynch on the 17th anniversary of the first time the Women's Championship was headlined and closed Monday Night Raw when Trish Stratus versus Lita, and once again, the redhead won when Becky Lynch cheated to beat Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan has been passionate and determined in getting a rematch, so she gets it here at day one. Does Liv Morgan finally win the big one, or does Becky Lynch continue our run on her way to WrestleMania?
I don't think Liv Morgan is the one that dethrones Becky. By the way, for what it's worth, not a fan of that hairdo that Becky's got going on, but it's different. And if you're a heel, I guess you're looking to do a little something different and not cater to what the fans want you to look like or want you to be like. God, if you're going to do anything with Liv that means anything, it might not be a bad idea. I just don't think that I don't think they're going to do it. So I think Becky retains it. I'm sure they'll try and make it a solid match and a lot of close calls, but I think Becky finds a way to win it.
We got a comment here from our very own Raju who says, "No way, Liv Morgana is the hottest thing in WWE right now. She's so hot. He misspelled her last name.
Yeah, he's so hot he can't type. Use both hands, Raiju. Use both hands."
But it seems like a lot of people are rooting for Liv Morgan. We got Mike.
Oh, it would be a great win. I'll be honest with you. It'd be a great win for her, and it would do her a ton of good. If you, like I said, and I've been hearing that they're finally going to do something with her over and over and over again, and it just seems to never happen. At least she's in the match. Let's give her that. There's a lot of other girls that'd like to be in that match right now, but I don't think they pull the trigger on it. And now, she's the hottest thing from a persona, or she's the hottest thing looks wise? Where's Raiju? The way he was typing, I think he thinks she's the hottest thing looks wise.
I mean,
he had that one hand typing.
If he bet she's the hottest actor, hottest person, or hottest performer in WWE right now, maybe the pulse of the WWE universe is different in India than it is here in the United States.
Well,
because I don't get that. I don't get that.
Something going on in India. They got something in the water over there. We're not drinking here
I hear the fans cheering, but I don't hear the reaction that would necessitate it being the hottest thing or being considered the hottest thing in WWE. So if he meant it as far as looks, maybe he's on the point.
Raiju, that's why y'all pay me 5 times more money than you pay anybody else on this network, and that I only have to do one show a month. You all pay me for expertise advice. I advise you to get some new water to drink, because if you think that Liv Morgan is the hottest thing going, and looks is a personal thing. I mean, I was kind of a Kareem Sane guy myself. But if you think she's the hottest thing going in the WWE right now, you are looking through rose-colored glasses, my friend. And I think I've seen you in rose-colored glasses, and it's not a good look.
Not too much. But like I said, a bunch of people rooting for Liv Morgan, pretty saying Liv Morgan wins the Raw Women's Championship.
Throw up all those comments so I know who the idiots are in here, and I can address them personally when I come back next month.
Victor Nash says Liv wins. We also got we got Mountain Timer, who says Becky
Mountain Timer. He's one of the refugees from the bowling alley. He just got back in good standings with us the other day. You know me, I have to do that thing that I do. We do it over here or something, but he's back in good standing. Becky Lynch's gimmick is old.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's over Becky Lynch, but Raju says he has his finger on the pulse of both India and the United States, and he's standing by his claim.
I don't know where his fingers are, but no. Reapplicate your fingers.
I would love for you, Raju, since you're answering our questions, to put what was the major show where she got the biggest reaction. I've heard a bunch of people say she got one of the biggest reactions at Money in the Bank. She got one of the biggest reactions at Extreme Rules. Tell me the time she got the biggest reaction, bigger than anyone else.
Any of them.
Just
Pick
one time. Just one time.
Any show.
Then you can claim she's the hottest thing in WWE. She has not. It's not Becky Lynch in 2019. It's not Bryan Danielson in 2014. It's not CM Punk in 2011. So don't tell me A pig with lipstick is a fine model on Victoria's Secret covers. So don't tell me that. Don't tell me Liv Morgan is the hottest thing in the WWE.
Sometimes you can put that lipstick on a pig and it works out, but I don't know about this time right here. I don't know. And no one's calling anybody a pig.
You're answering the wrong question, Roger. I want you to name the one event where Liv Morgan got the biggest reaction, and then we could say she's the hottest thing in WWE as far as popularity.
Most times, Liv Morgan is not the most popular thing in the ring, regardless of who else she's in the ring with. So just stop it, for crying out loud. And Kevin wants to address how rad my glasses are. And well, there's a reason for that. As close as I set to my 70-inch computer screen, my doctor says, you got to get something that blocks blue light. So I ordered a couple of pair. And this is one of them. Do I have the backup pair? The backup pair, Chris says that I look like that I should be pulling over people for having air fresheners hanging in their car. He says this right here, I just look like I should just, should be doing bad things as a cop or something. But these do very well as well. But at least you can see my eyes with these. So I normally prefer to go with these. At least I have eyes.
Can you put those glasses back on?
Yeah, the other ones? Yeah, we can do that. There you go. Officer Bolin here. Sir, where'd you get that air freshener, sir? Yeah, you need to get that out of your window. Oh, taser. There you go.
You look like an old Jewish woman that's security at a mall.
Okay. I've been told since I lost weight that I look like a lesbian version of Kenny Bolin, and I don't know exactly what that's supposed to look like, but I have seen pictures to where I've been forced, when my hair is much shorter, I've been forced to agree with them. But maybe the label sticks.
I'm gonna go with Becky Lynch here. I think we're 5 for 5 now.
5 for 5.
I
want names of everybody that picked Liv Morgan, because apparently Raiju's been sending out the little droplets to go in their water that he's drinking.
I think we're gonna get the title change on this
and she's a nice looking girl, but my God, I mean, WWE's got a few. I think Sasha Banks is one of the most beautiful women to ever walk the planet Earth. If I saw Sasha Banks just walking down Cherokee Road here, didn't even know she was in the wrestling business, I'd go, oh my God, what a woman. What a beautiful woman. So I kind of think, and I think Asuka's a beautiful woman. Hell, isn't she near 40 now?
Yeah.
And Kairi Sane was probably my pick for most beautiful woman in the WWE.
If Liv Morgan was to beat Becky Lynch at day one, I would have no possible idea, or I would have no possible idea what they would make the Raw Women's Championship match at WrestleMania, unless it's Becky Lynch again against Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
And Liv Morgan is not the type of champion where she's the champion and you have multiple hot or big enough matches for a WrestleMania card. So that's why I think
Raiju has labeled me with an Indian pop star. What's he talking about there?
I don't know, but we got more matches to get to, and not enough time.
now you're editing Raiju. I love it.
We got for the WWE Championship a fatal 4-way match. Big E will defend against Seth freaking Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Bobby Lashley. These 4 men have been going at it in the main event scene over on Monday Night Raw. Big E becoming the champion after beating Bobby Lashley in September. He beat Bobby Lashley in a title defense as well. Seth Rollins became the #1 contender in a fatal 4-way ladder match, but Kevin Owens snuck and lied his way into this matchup. Bobby Lashley beat all 3 men.
He is Canadian.
Bobby Lashley beat all 3 men on an episode of Raw to earn his spot in this fatal 4-way. So a lot of interesting storylines going on. Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens have been working together. Bobby Lashley has been undergoing somewhat of a babyface turn over on Monday Night Raw with his presentation, while Big E has been either the focal point of this storyline or kind of an afterthought with these 3 interesting characters. What do you think about the build-up to this matchup, and who do you think wins, Kenny?
I've been with Mary most of the night. I've been looking at some of her comments there. I've been with her most of the night. Well, that ended right here. You got 3 wrestlers and a fat guy, and you're a KO fan though, right? You like KO, right? I love Kevin. I don't get it. And like I said, he might be the nicest guy in the world. And I know my old buddy, my ex-friend, JC, can't stand him. I'm not at the point that I can't stand him. I just don't get it. how you can put him in the ring with those three guys and take him seriously, that he could beat any of them, just from a physical attribute. Now, I'm not talking about size and height. You've heard me get on the little guys beating the big guys sometimes. I just don't take him seriously. And no. If a shoot fight breaks out, even with Big E in the ring, Bobby Lashley's winning that hands down. I know Bobby very well. Know what he's capable of. I know what he did with Mark Henry in a shoot fight down here in OVW. Trust me, shoot fight breaks out, ain't nobody beating Bobby. I'm glad they had him beat 3 people on Monday Night Raw. So Bobby being one of my proteges and one of my top stars here in OVW, even though I don't know that people saw that when he was here, and his promos have come a long way. He doesn't get the full reign to do what he's capable of doing there. I think TNA gave him more of an opportunity to do that. That was TNA he was at before he came back to WWE, right?
Yeah.
I saw a lot of improvement there, but no, I'm going to go with Bobby, even though it's probably not. I think they want to keep the belt on Big E probably a while longer. Seth Rollins is a hell of an entertainer. I don't get the KO thing. I just don't get it. I remember Cornette used to say he shows up to the ring in $8 worth of laundry, and I don't know that he spends that much. Put something into your appearance. Look like a star. Act like a star. But apparently, some people buy into this. It's just I'm looking around the locker room, and I got all these athletes here, and then I got this bearded, goofy-looking screw job over on the left side. What do you want me to do with him? You know. Looks factor into this thing, and he won't, and he hasn't always looked like that. There was apparently there was a point in time that he put the work in and at least made himself look like a wrestler, but that hasn't been in quite some time. And I'm not trying to hurt the guy's feelings or anything, but if you want to be a star, in my opinion, look like a star. There's a reason I never pursued to be one of the top wrestlers in the wrestling business. I preferred to be a fat manager. The job is easier and less bumps.
I mean, Kevin Owens, he comes across like a star to me. He's presented himself like a star. He talks like a star. He might not have the prototypical look of a star in professional wrestling,
there's a lot,
but he damn sure is getting paid like one. He's getting $2 to $3 million a year. He's one of the highest paid performers on the WWE roster right now. So he wouldn't say negative about Kevin Owens.
He would be on food stamps if I was handing out the paychecks in WWE.
Hey, I'm sorry. How I dictate how a person is a star or how they're over or how they're the hottest thing in WWE is how the fans react to him. Anywhere Kevin Owens has worked, he's been reacted to as a top star, whether it be on the independent scene, NXT, or on the main roster. Fans
aren't as smart. Fans aren't as smart now as they used to be.
But they're the one that put the money in your pocket, brother.
Well, and that's why we got an empty dome down in Atlanta right now. They're not. They are electing to put their money in their pockets.
But that's not the main event. That says more for the match we're about to talk about. So
Kevin Owens is on that card. Apparently, nobody wanted to go see him. Don't give me that crap.
Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar is what's drawing here, and it ain't drawing. So
still ain't drawing. Exactly
don't blame the sixth guy down the line. That's the reason why it's not.
Oh, so you just made him the sixth guy, and they're wanting to pay the sixth guy $3 million. Is that what you just told me?
Yes, they're gonna pay them.
So you labeled him
$3 million.
You labeled him the sixth guy.
I'm saying he's not 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar.
He's definitely not 1 and 2. And even that can't sell the seats. Even that can't sell the seats. It is a different product right now.
So don't use that to criticize
and let's face it, the new variants out there, and in Atlanta, Georgia, I can assure you 30 to 40% of the people showing up at that dome ain't going to be vaccinated. Not only do you throw in the Republican factor, you throw in the young, I'm immune, I'm a tough guy, teenage factor, who won't get vaccinated because they don't think it affects them. If I get it, I'm not going to die. So you factor all that arena could be full of 50% full of unvaccinated people. And that's a risk a lot of people are not wanting to take right now. I wouldn't. You couldn't get me in that building, and I'm triple vaccinated. You couldn't get me in there.
Let me read Raju's comment because he totally missed the point of what we asked him. He says, I'm basing it on our SEO findings.
What the hell's
Our,
that?
our search engine tool says articles with Liv Morgan get more clicks. Not making this up. We were told to write more articles about Liv Morgan today. I am sorry, Raju. That makes her the most clickable superstar or the most clickable thing in WWE today. It doesn't make her the most hottest thing. And my question
You know what that
still
means,
stands.
Raju?
My
You know what
question
that
still
means? That
stands. Name
means
one event she got the biggest pop or the biggest reaction on.
that means a lot of horny teenagers on the internet like to look at her butt and thighs. That's exactly what that means. That doesn't make you over at the shows. SEO. No wonder I'm only doing one show a month. You're basing it on, and I'm clickbait bowling. I'm the click maker. I mean, my God. I mean, and you're worried about stop it. If you're thinking Liv Morgan's most popular because teenage boys want to look at her butt, then get over yourself, for crying out loud. This might be my last show today. They might get rid of me today.
We got you, my boy Blue, who says my cousin hates Kevin Owens because he said he looks like
I like your cousin.
He looks like somebody's dad that just showed up and said, "Hold my beer, I can fight these guys."
I can fight. Yeah, there you go. I've never heard it summed up, but I don't know this guy. I have no idea who he is. I love whoever his relative is. Yeah, hold my beer. I can whip these assholes. I can do it.
But he says when he saw him wrestle, he was like, "Damn, dude, is good."
Well, he's good for a fat guy that said, "Hold my beer." I'll give you that.
Horrible.
I'm never going to see Kevin Owens unless Kevin Owens comes to Cherokee Road and wants to whip my ass. Then I don't have much to worry about.
You're created a whole bunch of headlines that Kenny Bolin hates Kevin Owens.
And I hope they use them all. I hope they use them all.
Headline right there,
Clickbait bowling.
Kenny Bolin joins Jim Cornette in Kevin Owens' hate. There you go. That's a better title for you.
I don't think they're going to
put another one in there.
I'll sue Sportskeeda for all $35 they're worth if they use that.
And finally, we have the main event of the evening. It's going to be Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against his arch nemesis, Brock Lesnar. Back at Crown Jewel, Roman Reigns defeated Brock Lesnar thanks to help from the Usos and the Universal title that was thrown into the ring by Paul Heyman. But Heyman placed it in between Brock and Roman, not showing his allegiance. But Brock made his return. He was suspended after beating down Adam Pearce and officials. He was brought back and beat down Sami Zayn, costing him a WWE Universal Championship matchup, but earned his chance at another shot at day one. And then we had the scene 2 weeks ago on Smackdown where Paul Heyman broke down. He was interrogated by the tribal chief.
He was.
If he knew Brock was going to show up at SummerSlam, if he knew Brock was going to be at Madison Square Garden, if he's aligned with Brock Lesnar after Heyman praised Lesnar the week before, calling him the most likely Universal Champion. And he says, "Oh, Roman asks Heyman, why are you protecting Brock Lesnar from me?" Which Paul Heyman responded, "I'm not protecting Brock Lesnar from you. I'm protecting Roman Reigns from Brock Lesnar."
Even though you could see that line coming from 45 miles away, it was greatly delivered. And everybody, I hope everybody in the building saw it coming. And my son was telling me the other day, he says, "Dad, I know there's controversy. I know Bobby Heenan came down here and passed the torch to you, and you like to think you're one of the top 2 managers ever in the business." I said, "Well, 54 people placed at WWE. I'm in the count somewhere." He says, "But he says the best." And we didn't grow up Paul Heyman fans. We were not a fan of ECW. He has done an amazing job in WWE. And here's some clickbait, something positive about somebody. A lot of these guys would be screwed if it weren't for Paul Heyman being out there being the spokesperson. And he plays the little candy ass chicken shit who just terrified to ruffle anybody's feathers other than the fans better than anybody I've ever seen. This my try. I want to slap him, and I know what he's doing. And I just want you get a spine, you double chin wearing good, which I used to have a pretty big one myself. But no, he does a masterful job at that. And Heyman does promos that I could never do. Sometimes you'll see a manager and I say, "Could I do that?" And I go, "No." Heyman's another one of those. He does an intellectual type of management that I don't know where he got it from. I don't know where he learned it from, but he does a style that I could never do. And I got my hats off to him. He does a hell of a job with what he does. And this stuff going on with him and Brock is really good. So who you got winning?
Well, to finish off on the description of this feud, because of what Heyman said, Roman Reigns fired him as his special counsel.
He did. He got rid of his ass.
And Heyman says he doesn't know if his career will be over because of the story. I think that
threw his stuff out in the hallway. They just cleared his locker room out.
Paul Heyman cannot show up at day one. He shouldn't show up at day one. The story should be with Paul Heyman at Crown Jewel, Roman Reigns defeated Brock Lesnar. Without Paul Heyman at day one, Brock Lesnar becomes the new Universal Champion. This is the only way you get this feud and this matchup to WrestleMania. You have to have a change. I know Roman Reigns' run has been great, 400 plus days as champion, and you would love for him to beat the record of Brock Lesnar in just a few weeks' time. But the story needs Brock to win here.
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever had a show we've agreed with each other so often on, but that is the way to do it.
Well, I'm going with Big E in the Fatal 4-Way, so we're different there.
Okay. But me and John Cena had a similar thing. Cena decided here at OVW he had a match that he didn't want me at ringside. Jim Ross was doing commentary down here for that week. And all of a sudden, he decided he didn't want me. So he was having a lot of trouble in the match. And I came out at ringside, had my briefcase with me. Cena waves me in the ring. I'm like, you said you didn't want me. You said you didn't need me. But now you need my help. So I got in the ring. And he's holding the wrestler for me to bash in the head with a briefcase. And when the wrestler tucked out of the way, I bashed Cena in the head. And it was obvious I was targeting Cena. It wasn't like, oh, Kenny accidentally hit Cena. It was like, yeah, Bolin got winning on Cena because he said he didn't want you at ringside, and you proved you couldn't win without him. And this is a similar scenario. He shouldn't be in the building. He shouldn't be there. And then maybe Heyman shows up kicking cans out in the parking lot like, yeah, there might be a job for me here somewhere. Couldn't beat him without me, could you? Yeah, guess you needed me. So, yeah, it's perfect. That's exactly what they should do.
Let's see if we got someone who can disagree with us. The biggest Kenny Bolin fan in the world. And of course,
who's that?
He's got to plug the day one review after the show as well.
Oh, sure he does.
Mr. Kevin Cullum is here with
how's
us.
Kevin doing?
Kenny, been very entertaining. I enjoy you calling yourself clickbait Bolin. That's a new
Bolin.
T-shirt.
Oh, hey,
the click maker. He's
the
not
click
the star
maker.
maker.
Yeah, both are pretty good. We might have to let the fans decide on that. There's Scooby. Scooby doesn't like it when they call me the click maker. I know. I'm bored too.
That's a good boy.
Well, thank you for dropping in here late. So you've got a little show going on a little later tonight, correct?
We're going to be doing the day one post show. We do Top Story Monday through Friday at 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern. You can get that on demand. Also, for you guys who are enjoying the video version of the show, audio version of the show is picking up now. We are in the top 100 wrestling podcasts on Apple in the United States.
I'm number 2 in Poland on Apple. I don't know why or how, but that's the numbers they send me.
Man.
And I've had a long run at number 2. I don't even know who's number 1.
Polska Power, dude. Book Ivan Putski.
Get notifications. I'm number 2 in Poland, so at least somebody likes me, I guess.
There you go. Take it. And then we'll be live on Saturday night. After day one, we'll have a live post show. So if you guys are enjoying the live stuff, especially people coming over from Bolin Alley, make sure those notifications on. If you haven't done already, subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling, our YouTube channel. Turn them notifications on and join us, and we'll have some fun.
And anybody that enjoys these shows, especially with me and Sid and the various ones we do here, make sure to come over and watch us on the Bolin Alley. Who did we have on last night? We had a big, nearly 2-hour show. Who did we have on?
The legendary Dutch Mantel.
The legendary, for the first time ever on the Bolin Alley. We had a very good time. We even talked a little politics there briefly. A lot of people was wanting to see that. I'm going to try to talk Dutch into doing nothing but a political show. He's one side of the aisle, I'm on the other. I say we just drop the gloves and we just go at it for 90 minutes until somebody's bleeding. And Kenny, I know who's going to bleed. Yeah, go ahead.
Little bit of a take here. You've been in locker rooms over the years.
Oh, yeah.
How do you I know you guys probably already talked about this. I jumped in the middle of the show here.
Well, Sid's not very good. He probably didn't cover it, so go ahead.
I love Sid, though. How do you feel about the COVID situation with WWE here? This is such a fluid problem. I mean, things got better. They got back out on the road. It felt safe to do it. AEW got back out on the road. It felt safe to do it. Now this comes up at like the worst possible time right before WrestleMania season. It's a hard thing to manage, right?
How it's been explained to me and by scientists and doctors, and those are the people I like to listen to. I don't like to get my medical advice from Facebook, Twitter, Sportskeeda, or the bowling alley. I like to listen to what doctors and scientists tell me. They said as long as we've got 30 to 40% of this population that refuses to get vaccinated and refuses to get booster shots, and so many children that are not getting vaccinated, they're little spreaders too. The age 5 to 12 group has been eligible for vaccinations for quite some time, and they're spreading it the most. The hospitals right now are filled with little children, and the doctors are saying not only do the little kids are they not vaccinated, their parents that are bringing them in are not vaccinated, and their siblings are not vaccinated. And that's what's filling our hospitals up. And as long as COVID has somewhere to go, somewhere to mutate, somewhere to become stronger in a different variant, which it keeps doing over and over and over again, this is the problem we're going to have. If we could get 98% of us vaccinated, and we finally got Trump to admit that he got boosted, so we was hoping that would motivate his base, but they booed him. And I know we don't normally like to talk about stuff on here like that, but if we're canceling bowl games left and right. UCLA canceled the game 1 hour before kickoff. The fans are in the stands. They've already bought their food. They're ready to go. The players are dressed and ready, and they canceled it an hour before kickoff. And if you don't think Atlanta is going to be full of an arena of people in a closed in, the roof ain't going to be open, the wind ain't going to be blowing. That's going to be a good Lord. You couldn't get me in there, and I'm triple vaccinated. So, and then in the locker room, I mean, I don't know how many of the WWE guys have been vaccinated or not. I know Sasha Banks was vocal about it. A couple of others have been vocal about it, but if you're back there and you're spreading this stuff to others, whether you've been vaccinated or not, it's a new variant. That booster only does so much with certain variants, and we don't know enough about the new one right now, Omicron. We don't know enough about it. So I think we got to take every damn precaution. And I think it's ridiculous that we're doing these live indoor shows right now, especially
is a Thunderdome return on the horizon? Fans keep asking us every day.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. It's fair. It's just a common question we're getting asked all the time. Kenny, thank you so much for the insight. Sid, always fun to talk to you. I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you for dropping in,
brother. Thanks for
joining us. That was a little something they probably didn't want on this show, but that's my honest opinion. Listen to scientists and doctors, and most of all, your doctor. Your doctor is probably not going to give you bad advice. And if they're telling you not to get vaccinated, there's probably a reason for it. The immune compromise. Some of those people can't get vaccinated. So I'm not saying that everybody that's not getting vaccinated is compromised. And I hear a large population of the African American community is a little reluctant to get the shot. Can you shed any light on that? Do you know why so many African Americans do not want to get vaccinated? Is there a reason behind that?
I mean, a lot of the information that has come out is that people are still able to get sick. So I know with African Americans, usually it's the common sense rule.
But they're not. They're not dying. The thing you got to remember, they're not dying.
They understand that, but if they were under the understanding, a lot of the when I heard about the vaccine, it was like, you get the vaccine, you won't get COVID.
Nope. I'm going to shut you down right now. That has not. Now you might have read that on Facebook.
I understand.
You might have read that on Facebook. You might have read that on Twitter. That has never been publicized by anybody.
I never said anybody publicized. I am telling you how we thought. You asked me a question, I answered it, and then you didn't even let me finish. I said that's how a lot of us.
Why did you think that? Why didn't you read the information?
Because when I get my vaccine for the flu, I don't usually get a flu afterwards.
No, I know tons of people that still get the flu. It just doesn't kill them.
Different conversation. It is time to do plugs, Kenny. Where can the people find you?
Well, when you're losing an argument, it's best to shift it to something else.
Yeah, you got beat. I could have won this argument very easily. You know how?
Well,
that's how. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the WWE Day 1 preview. No, I'm not gonna do that to you, Kenny. I love you too much for that.
You'll do it once. Where
can people find you on social media and on
You
YouTube?
can find me, just type in Starmaker Bolin. Chances are you'll find me at Starmaker Bolin at Twitter, Starmaker Bolin at Facebook. If you ever want to donate to any of our charitable funds, you can do that on PayPal, Kenny Bolin at MSN.com, Starmaker Bolin at gmail.com, and Cash App, $sign Starmaker Bolin. But most importantly, come over and see us at the Bowling Alley. We have a ton of fun over there. We have right wingers, left wingers, no wingers whatsoever. We have everybody on over there. The Bowling Alley, youtube.com/The Bowling Alley. Come on over, click subscribe. We'd love to have you. And we always have fun on the Bowling Alley, as long as you do as I tell you.
Absolutely. Go over and support Kenny for sure. You can find me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. You can follow my YouTube channel, True Hill Heat. Just drop the E from the True and check out the content we got over there. Our year end for 2021 countdowns are going to be going live on the channel this week. We'll go live for a top 10 wrestlers of 2021 as well. You can also find my written work on Sportskeeda.com as well as WrestleTalk.com, where I do features over there for them. And check out my new podcast with Rick Ucchino, Believe in Pro Wrestling. On
Whoa, you got a new podcast? You got
yes,
like 13?
I'm a busy man.
How did I get screwed out of that deal?
Go over to Believe Podcast YouTube channel, as well as all your favorite podcast platforms to listen to.
Raiju wants you to plug something he's doing.
Believe in Pro Wrestling, which our first episode will drop this Sunday on all your favorite podcast platforms. So a lot
can't
for you.
Can't believe I'm not on that show.
On the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, you can see my interview with someone else you might know, Kenny, with Mickey James.
I love Mickey. Yeah, I wrote her and yelled at her for doing your show before mine. Yeah, I let her have it. No, I love Mickey. She's a class act. I love Mickey.
I'm
sure that'll be a good. I will check that one out. Yeah, Mickey sat on my lap, by the way, and kissed me at OVW. Wasn't written. I think she just took advantage of me. I think she did.
Please plug. Please, he wants you to please plug his W. Morrissey interview, because I'm still waiting for Raiju to tell us the event that Liv Morgan got the biggest reaction. We are an hour and 7 minutes into the show. We asked him with 7 minutes into the show. It's been an hour. He still doesn't know an event. She got the loudest reaction. He's still holding on to a SEO. Come on, son.
You're in a mood today. You get mad at me because, well, we thought we wouldn't get COVID. Well, that's your fault.
That's been our WWE Day 1.
I thought when I ordered those penis enlarger pills that my penis would really grow. That's on me.
Man, you haven't seen it in years. This has been our Day 1 preview and
prediction. Been a long time.
For Sportskeeda Wrestling. That's Kenny Bolin. It's me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. We are signing off until next time.
It's a good time to sign